And hello, we are live. Welcome, everyday leaders. This is Melahni Ake with the Everyday Leaders platform, and it is Thursday. It's December the 17th. It's getting closer to Christmas. And every day I am trying to bring you more amazing leaders that are pivoting and leading their lives with success and helping you to discover maybe something that you've never thought about before. Tonight, I bring you Jerome Myers with Dreamcatchers. Cannot wait to dig into this and see if you can connect to his dreams. So, welcome, welcome, Jerome. I'm so excited to have you on tonight.
This is gonna be so much fun, Melanie. Thank you for having me.
This is awesome. So, where are you again? Where are you right now? You're in California, right?
Nope, Greensboro, North Carolina.
Greensboro, North Carolina. I am so like geographically challenged right now because I've been in my house too long. We're on the same time zone.
Yep.
Yes. So, tell our audience that's watching this and listening, what's going on with you? What's been inspiring you to start this Dream Catchers? I love this title.
Oh my goodness. So, where do I begin? I think the inception of the Dreamcatcher situation was really me spending time with friends from college and realizing that we weren't having the same corporate experience. I was fortunate enough to be mentored by a division president at a Fortune 500 company. And the gift that he gave me was his coach. And so by being coached by his coach, I was able to get opportunities because I was maturing faster than a lot of other folks and had exposure to training and tools and assessments that other folks at my level in career weren't getting. And so I consumed that. I was excited. I got addicted to it. I'm an athlete. I've been an athlete since I was 5. And so to have somebody who was being structured in my development and targeting specific opportunities for me was just paying huge dividends. And but when I went and talked to my friends and they weren't identified as a high potential and getting that additional support, I found that they were kind of like lagging behind, and so their income wasn't growing aggressively, their roles and responsibilities weren't happening, and that's what it was all about at that point in my career. And so I started sharing what I was learning because I was like, hey, all you have to do is this, and this. And you're like, but nobody told me that. I was like, well, my mentor's coach told me. So that's how I know that this is what you need to do. And sure enough, they started having some results. And so we did that for a few years with just a small knit group of people. And then we was like, man, we should probably formalize this and share this with more people because people are doing one or two things. They're trying to grow in their career in whatever enterprise they work in, or they want to go do their own thing, but they haven't figured out how to monetize that thing. And so we work with people across the gamut because eventually what I did was I became a corporate America dropout.
Mhm. I love that, corporate America dropout. That's a title that I think people are gonna use after COVID, right? Because people don't wanna do the norm. They don't wanna go back to the regular 8 to 5 grind. It's like there is so much more to our lives. And so this is why I love having you on here right before Christmas because this is where dreams happen, right? You wish something for Christmas, you have to step into that reality to make it happen. And as you talked about this, I think about all the athletes that are watching that are saying, "Yeah, I went through that too. I went into my college career and then corporate America." Maybe you didn't have that opportunity to get a great coach like you had when you were training. And so if you don't have that connection, man, in corporate America, you just kind of fit in. You just show up and fit in and hope that you get a promotion and hope what you do that matters. My goodness, what a great lesson from that, and then saying there's something more to be a servant leader for others.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the only true success is significance. And so we talk about the red pill all the time. I wear a shirt, and if you find me in most videos, you're going to see me in this shirt because it has multiple meanings. But the red pill is our model for a centered life. And this is what we teach people who come into our ecosystem. There's 6 levels. The first one is self image, the second is relationships, then work or career, health, prosperity, and significance. And significance is going out and helping others. And I think that is our duty to do once we figure it out is to go back and help other people, whatever it is, because there's somebody who's looking up to you and desiring to be in the space that you're in right now, even if you're not super grateful about it. And so you want to be able to help people get to that place because you weren't always there, you grew there, and hopefully you'll continue to grow. And so as long as we're pulling other people along, I think we can fulfill that piece of significance that we're all seeking.
I love that you went there because I do a Bible study. We've been doing it every morning since October the 1st, 2019. So we started this because we were all searching for something bigger, and we started this leadership devotional Bible study, and we keep going back. The last month we've been talking about the 10 commandments, and we're studying Luke now. And so the topic comes up all the time, right? Love thy neighbor as thyself. And the discussion always comes back to, well, how can you actually be a servant leader and love others if you don't love yourself?
You can't.
You can't. And so that's one of the written laws, right? If you are a person of faith, you think, well, doing good for others and helping them and getting groceries or getting their mail or shoveling their snow, that's really great. But the significance goes into if you really love yourself, you can really connect and identify and find out how to show up for those other people. And it's bigger than just the activities, right? It's just more than the what. It's really to help them in their journey. And so I love that you brought that up because really the power is when we sit and we listen and we can meditate on it and then we can figure out what are the steps to connect to the right energies to get us to that next level. And
No
yeah.
question. And you went there, so I'm going to follow you down the rabbit hole, right? And so you have to take the red pill. It starts with you, right? Self-image is the foundation, it's the core. And if you want to see something change, you have to change. You have
Mm,
to be the change that you want to see. And
mhm,
so you make the change on the inside, and then it radiates out to the people who are closest to you, and then to your workplace. And then once you take care of the inner three, which I call the stressors, because you don't like yourself, or you don't like the people around you, you don't like your work, you start doing things that are self destructive. And so that impacts your health, right? So we take care of the first three, then we take care of your health, then we take care of prosperity, because if you don't have health, it'll steal all your prosperity, and then move on to the overflow and the abundance and sharing that with your significance. And so I think it all works together. And I'll raise you one. I think there's one law, and that's love, right? You got
mhm.
to love yourself, you got to love others, and as long as you can interact with people in love, I think the world ends up being a kind, compassionate place, and you don't have to worry about a lot of stuff where you're fear mongering and taking advantage of people and all that stuff, because it's just not love. And if you can answer the question, am I acting in love or not? Then I think you put yourself in a great situation where you are able to sleep with a clear conscience and move without a whole lot of hesitation because you've got that guiding star to make your decisions with.
Absolutely. I think that is so important. Jarius says, "Hey," on LinkedIn here. That's awesome. Hey, Jerome, is it okay? I'm gonna share your website if that's okay. I've got it up
Sure.
here and would love for people to kind of follow. If you're watching this live or you're doing this on the replay, just wanted you to take us through your website here, and that is thedreamssshouldbereal.com. And so here it is on the screen, and just kind of walk us through what we'll find on the website.
Yeah, I mean, just at the highest level, I walk folks through the story that we're sharing this evening, right? I believe that there's a lot of people who want to unlock their ultimate potential, but lack the strategy, support, and stamina necessary to achieve those major goals. That part is everything, because most often the most successful people are successful like mainly on their own because they have the effort, they have the drive, and you can just will your way through it. But I think every one of us has this thing inside of us that's bigger than what we can do on our own, and it forces us to go out to other people to accomplish the mission. And this is where we get stuck, because usually we just want to muscle it, we just want to force it because we can do it and we believe in our ability and our capability. But sometimes you need help with strategy because you've probably never done it before, and then once you have the right strategy and you're doing the work, you need support. And I liken this to folks who hand out water at a marathon. If you've ever seen somebody run a marathon or you run a marathon, you get thirsty. And so there's a lot of people at the front, there's not many people along the way, and then there's people at the end to cheer for you. But those people along the way that have those cups of water, they're the folks that's your support system. And
Mm,
then the stamina is just reminding you, hey, this is what you committed to. And so, we just go through the story and um, of how I used to talk to the players that I coached in high school and how I felt empty because I gave that up for another $600 a month in income by having to travel around the country all year. And I know you did a bunch of that in your career. And I decided that I wanted more. I wanted to get better. And so we created the Red Pill and just really systematized it so we could explain to people what it was and that you don't need to chase balance. You need to chase a centered life. So you always come back to center, and that keeps you from veering too far off the path. And that is something that I haven't really heard anybody say. And I know we like to take pills to fix problems, and so I thought it was a good play on words, even though it's just a statement of you focusing on these 6 areas. I still, after all these years, haven't found a person to give me something that didn't fit in one of these areas. And I don't care how great your life is, there's something wrong in at least one of these, and that's okay. I think that awareness and the willingness to say, hey, this is a little more than what I can handle is the thing that will allow you to go to that next level, where staying where you are and not sharing that and getting any support will keep you where you are. John Maxwell is somebody I really like from a leadership perspective, and he talks about the leadership led.
mhm,
And I've heard other people pontificate about this idea of you have to grow into the person so that you can have the business that you want, or you can have the position you want in the company. And if you're not intentionally doing self development, then you're doing yourself a disservice because you're not going to grow into the leader that you need to become in order to execute that mission. And so that's where we are with the Red Pill, and we've got a podcast around it. We've got so many things going on just to support people along the way and encourage them that with our simple message that is our website, your dreams should be real.
mhm. Your dream
And if
should
you
be real.
haven't heard it lately, you've heard it and now you're responsible for it. You can't unhear that, guys. Sorry, you heard me say it. And so now you know. I think we get beat up, right? As kids, they'd say, oh, you can do whatever you want to do, you can be whatever you want to be. But the reality of the situation is you get older and they stop telling you that.
Mhm,
But I'm here to tell you that you can have all the dreams that you search for, that you sought as a kid, if you're willing to pay the price of admission. And that's where we get the disconnect because we live in a microwave society. People want it right now and they don't want to do anything for it. They just want to push the button and it comes out, take the pill, make it go away. And that's not real for those big things. And that's sometimes why you got to find your tribe and get that support. And if nobody else believes in you, I do, and I'm willing to go on that journey with you. We are tour guides, not travel agents.
mm,
Walk on the journey with you so that when it gets hard, because it's going to get hard, and if anybody tells you it's not, they're not telling you the truth about that big goal that you're trying to achieve. That you have somebody to turn to and say, hey, this is hard. And I say, yeah, I know, but it's okay. Keep going. And eventually we get to the end of the road together and we smile and hug, and then we look for the next mountain to climb or whatever you want to call it. I call it crossing the desert more often than not, but we just want to go on the journey with you and have your back. I run like 6 miles every day, and I like to ask people who's got your six, who's back there watching your back and making sure that you didn't miss something or that somebody's not going to jump out and get you, or somebody to have protection. I just I get super excited and amped about somebody achieving their goal.
mm,
That is more exciting than anything else that I can think of. And I just love seeing the social proof that dreams should be real. I'm
mm.
sorry I'm ranting, but
No, 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 it's great. Well, I put on here I don't know if people can see this, but I wanted to read this because it says, "Dream catchers is for you if you are asking if this is all there is to their life, or if you have outgrown your circle of friends," and I wanna talk about that real quick, "and you want access to peak performance development, and lastly, you want high performing accountability-based support systems." So I wanna go back to the second one where it says, "You've outgrown your circle of friends." And I think this is really critical because during COVID-19, this whole year, the last 9 months, we have probably developed a different set of people that we can rely on, right? It looked different when we were going different places, when we were traveling, when we had the kids in school and we were doing activities socially. And now Zoom has become our best friend. And those people that we see on camera every day are the consistent ones that are showing up in our lives. So it looks completely different. And tell me about what's changed for you and your circle of people that you are accountable to and that are counting on you during this time of kind of quarantine.
Yeah, I am even more adventurous and open to networking than I ever was before.
Mhm.
It's allowed me to congregate with people around the country and even the world at this point. I was talking to a lady that lives on an island on the other side of Madagascar earlier today, to put things in perspective.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And we were just sitting across from each other. I mean, I don't know if I would have ever talked to her in any other way, shape, or form did had we not had this technology, right? And so being able to hop on a Zoom, even though people talk about, oh, I'm zoomed out and I'm tired of looking at my computer, it is the new norm. And I don't think it's going to go away. It's really hard to justify getting on a plane to go have a 1 hour meeting now.
Mhm,
In the past, people would have done it. Oh, well, and I think the people who weren't okay doing this in the past are becoming more okay with it, and it just increases our efficiency. I had a couple that wanted to meet with me yesterday morning, and it took everything in me to actually go out and meet with them, right?
mhm,
Because for me, it would be a whole lot more efficient to just hop on a Zoom, do the meeting over 30 or 45 minutes and be done versus 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back, and whatever time we spent sitting at the table talking. And so I really, really enjoy this new norm, and I do. I've ascended and grown my network and talking to people who are working on bigger problems. And I think that's the thing that I've learned the most is, if you want to grow your compensation, then you're going to have to talk to people who are solving bigger problems, and you yourself are going to have to solve bigger problems for other people. And when you're doing that, that's when your life changes because the problems don't go away, they just get bigger. And some people run away from that type of stuff, but if you go back to that intentional development and growth, I think you end up in a space where you're ready for those and you're excited because it's one thing to help one or two people, it's another thing to help 10 or 20,000 people, and then even more. I mean, think about what Jeff Bezos and Amazon has been doing recently and how they've just helped people who probably wouldn't be able to go get things. Like the elderly can order their stuff online instead of having to be exposed to the potential risk of getting COVID by going to stores. Like,
mhm.
that's phenomenal. And yeah, it was there before, but we didn't utilize the technology to its fullest extent. And so, yeah, I think being adaptable is a big part of it. And so, yeah, I appreciate you asking me that because it's shifted a lot. And I'm the person was completely wrong about this. I thought COVID was a 2 week thing. And not even close. I was so wrong.
They totally said it's gonna be October and we're not gonna be able to go back to schools, and we were all like, "Yeah, whatever." Right? And so March 13th was kind of that D-Day, and we said, "Oh, but it won't last past Easter, and we won't have to have graduations," and, like they thought we would, and so now that all this has become reality, I think we're giving, ourselves and others a lot of grace, right? So when you say intentional conversations, it's also allowing people like us that say, "Why not?" reach out to so many people that we may not have ever had the opportunity to connect to, and they actually have time. They actually have time, and they'll give you time to say, "Is there anything we can do to collaborate?" Because everybody's curious, like, "I don't know, it's probably never gonna go back to normal, so what would it look like if we have some opportunities to do different things and maybe scale businesses?" That's what I have seen the most of, and I love it. I just absolutely love what's happened over the last 9 months.
I agree with you. I think had this not happened, some of the things that I've been able to do absolutely wouldn't have happened. And I think I would be sad if they hadn't. I've met some amazing people, you being one of them, right? And I don't know how we would have done that had we not been so aggressive with being on LinkedIn and some other platforms that connect people in different spaces and different places in the world.
Mhm. I gotta give a shout out to Justin Breen because he connected us, and he was on my podcast this year, and how much fun, to think about global connectors and trying to empower people to just step out and be comfortable, simply just connecting. Sometimes we get into our own little zones, and so if we've had to go to corporate America, like you said, give it up. But if you have done that for years and years and years, and you really don't know how to react to things when your environment changes. And so this has been a great opportunity for people to learn new methods and just get comfortable with maybe a new social circle. And so I think, us as people that say, I got to connect and I want to connect to people that really want to push the envelope and go to the next level. That's what's been so fun because it's like we're on speed, it's like speed growth. and and that's what it feels like, doesn't it?
Without question. I mean, go, go, go. And I mean, I literally sat down at my computer this morning and I didn't get up until I went and got a little bit to eat right before this. And now I'm back with you. And I've had some really great conversations today with people who are doing some amazing things. And
Mhm,
for me, the more that I can do, the better off I'm going to be because I do believe that your network is your network.
mhm. We say it every morning. We meet every day at 7:30 for our devotionals, and we say, "We've heard this a million times, same things over and over. How many times can you read the same thing, talk about the same things?" But it's what you've experienced, what you've been exposed to just right before that, right, or the day before that. And so you say, "Okay, but how can I apply this differently?" You can hear the same instruction every single day, but you apply it differently. And that's why I think if you're not intentional about tuning into your growth, don't let somebody else lead you down a path. Be on a journey with somebody that's really intentional about helping you get where you wanna go.
If it's happenstance, you're not gonna like where you ended up. And I learned that lesson the hard way. In 2005, I went to go get a haircut and I didn't know where the barbershop was. It was my first or second weekend at my new house and I just wandering around in my car. Ended up getting in a really bad accident that landed me in ICU because I didn't know where I was going. And I know it's an extreme example, but I don't want anybody to miss this point. If you're not being intentional about your growth and development and the path that you're going down, you're going to end up in a place that you don't actually want to be. And so, have a direction you want to go and start moving in that direction. And even if you don't see all the steps and turns to get there, at least you're moving in the right direction. And if you're doing it in love, there's going to be people to show up to help you out along the way,
Mm,
and you got to grab onto that and go with it because if it's meant to be, it will. But you've got to do your part in order to make sure that it does.
mm. Man, Jerome, you have my heart. This has been awesome. This is so much fun to connect to you, and I know, we're gonna be fast friends to do lots of collaboration with. I don't wanna miss the opportunity. I know you have a retreat that you do. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I can. So there's a retreat called the Powwow at the Mountaintop, and we kind of paused it a little bit because of COVID and getting folks together. But we bring people together from all over the country, and I call it bringing leaders down off of their mountains and coming up a mountain all together to have those conversations and ask each other the questions that you've been asking yourself, right? Is this all to life? Is there more? Am I the only person dealing with this? And just be vulnerable and open and then have that conversation directly. And in doing that, I think you end up in a space where you can find out, hey, I'm not all alone and I'm not weird. And that does a whole lot for allowing you to drop the guilt or drop the questioning of your self worth and all this other stuff that people carry around for no reason. And so, yeah, that's exciting. We're gonna, as soon as we can get back together, we're gonna get that stuff relaunched and get people in the same room and spend 30 hours together working on themselves. And there's one part of it where we call it the hot seat. And so you come to the front of the room and everybody is ready to love on you and help you figure out whatever problem or challenge you've been trying to figure out. And whether it's access to a resource, a connection, whatever it is, they're there to help you frame the situation, come up with a solution, and come up with some action steps for you to get through. And for a lot of people, that's the most valuable piece. But then it's also just being authentic and sharing what's going on in your world, because other people may feel like they're the only one going through it, and more often than not, there's somebody who's either says, I've been through what you're going through and here's how I got out, or I'm going through the same thing right now. So I totally understand what you're going through. and here's what I'm trying, and comparison of notes of what's happening. And it's, for me, it's just magic to see people connect in that way, because we live in a world where people will ask you, "How are you doing?" and they don't care, right? It's a greeting. Is I would rather you say hi than how are you doing, because you probably don't really want to know. But I want people to be deliberate and intentional in their actions, and that's what you get when you come into that room.
That's so neat. I wanna invite you back before you start your retreat so that we can celebrate that, because I would love to help people connect to and understand what that's about. It's really amazing what you're doing, Jerome, and your dreams that are becoming reality. I just think that is just such a wonderful gift that you have.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to share this evening and to come back, because I'm absolutely coming back to hang out with you some more.
That is awesome. I know. So if you have not been following us yet, if you just jumped on or if you're watching the replay, go to dreamsshouldbereal.com and connect to this amazing guy, Jerome Myers. Thank you very, very much for joining us tonight on Everyday Leaders. And I hope that you have a great Christmas and a very happy New Year, Jerome.
Same to you, Melanie. Stay in touch, and we'll talk soon, even if it's just commenting on your post.
Yes, that's right. You remember, everyday leaders change the world. So keep changing the world, my friend.
I will. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Bye bye.